Dear business partners and friends of SWARCO, dear colleagues, I cordially welcome you once again from the SWARCO traffic world here at our headquarters in Wattens in sunny Austria. My name is Richard Neumann. I'm the head of communication and marketing of the SWARCO Group, and it is my pleasure to guide you through this webinar over the next 30 minutes. Thank you for joining our fourth innovation talk in a series of webinars we are offering you over the next months. The main purpose is to keep you posted about latest innovations by SWARCO in times where we are not able to meet in person at conferences, exhibitions, and trade shows. This innovation talk allows you to get in direct touch with us via the chat function in the right-hand part of your screen. Please feel free to send us your comments and questions over the next few minutes. Following the interview, we will answer your questions in a Q&A session. The title of today's innovation talk is Road Markings in the Age of Automated Driving. I'm pleased to welcome for this interesting topic my colleague Harald Mosböck from the Road Marking Systems division. Harald Mosböck looks back to 25 years of experience in the paint and road marking systems industry, with employments at Rembrandtin, Herbert's Austria, and DuPont Performance Coatings Austria. In 2000, Harald joined Manfred Swarovski's SWARCO Group and later became managing director of SWARCO road marking contracting companies in Austria and Germany. He has also been heavily involved in the development of road marking contracting in Hungary, Bulgaria, and Romania. In November 2016, Harald Mosböck became SWARCO's head of sales of the Road Marking Systems division for Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. He is member of the executive board of the European Union Road Federation ERF and chairs the working group on road marking. He holds a Master's of Science degree in traffic telematics from Austrian Donau-Universität Krems and graduated in export trade at Vienna's University of Economics. Servus Harald, and welcome here at our permanent showroom, the SWARCO Traffic World. Harald, the whole world is talking about automated driving or self-driving cars. Are our roads today already capable of supporting automated driving?
Richard, first of all, thank you very much for your invitation. I'm very happy to be here with you today. And to answer your first question, quite simple, our roads today are not really ready. You're going to have to know that lane markings are currently read by two kinds of sensors. We are talking about camera and LiDARs. And even the latest vehicles equipped with high-definition maps needs that kind of sensors in order to chapter the lane markings and traffic signs and then to compare whether all the data are really comparable and fitting together. The point is that road markings and traffic signs, there is a lack of uniformity on global roads. There is a lot of differences all over. And as long as lane markings and traffic signs are not fully standardized and harmonized, make it easier for all that kind of sensors to read them properly, we will not be able to achieve a proper reliability of that kind of sensors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we all know that road markings are a very complex topic. The markings are different from country to country. Sometimes the quality is differing, and that's of course an issue for the automated reading or the machine reading of road markings. As a member of the European Union Road Federation, ERF, you also have an overview of what is being done in other European countries in terms of improved road markings. What are the predominant actions in this respect?
Very good question, Richard. The main thing here in this regard is that the European Union, actually it was the European Council, decided last year to revise the Road Safety Management Directive, whereas the Council gave the order to the European Commission to work out by an expert group how road markings and traffic signs should be done to be best readable for vehicles and of course for the humans as well. The problem, of course, unfortunately, that due to the pandemic in these days, that the expert group started their work, however, the process is delayed. And while we were hoping already with first results in mid next year, we currently expect the first results end of 2021.
I see. If we broaden a bit the perspective beyond Europe, what demands and trends are emerging at international level to improve the quality of road markings?
It's about that in the Japanese, the United States, and in Europe, the European standardization bodies are those three organizations who are driving that process on a global perspective. Whereas, in my opinion, it's the United States who are again a step ahead. Just recently, it was spring that year that it was one major standard process recently proposed to the Federal Highway Administration. Three main things how lane markings on their highway network should be in the future. So the first thing, that there should be a standardized width of minimum 6 inches, which is for the European English listeners 15 centimeters. It's a requirement of the dotted line as highway exits, and there is a standardized gap lane for broken lanes look alike. Mm-hmm. Right now there is a work going on where they are addressing the topic of more retroreflectivity. It's a very challenging topic, and as well how traffic, construction zones, lane markings should be improved in order to get, again, the point is always the readability and the reliability of automated or assisted driving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that in Europe we have the topic of minimum performance requirements with road markings with these famous 150 by 150 formula. Maybe you can elaborate on that also.
It's a very good point, and thank you for that, because actually these requirement proposal and recommendation which were worked out by the European Road Federation was done when we were really talking only about human eyes and for how in order lane markings can improve traffic safety. And this was one formula which we were working out. And by several kind of studies, it was, if it was coincident, but it was definitely approved that what's good for the human eyes, it's as well very good working for machine vision.
Mm-hmm. Fine. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, those of you who are a little more familiar with SWARCO know, of course, that SWARCO has a threefold competence in the road marking area, which means SWARCO is a producer of glass beads, SWARCO is a producer of road marking materials, the binders needed where the glass beads can be embedded, and of course SWARCO has a strong competence also as a road marking contractor in some countries. As a manufacturer and expert in road markings, SWARCO has given a closer look at the machine readability of the markings. What can you tell us about the tests in the impressive world's largest climate and wind tunnel in Vienna?
I'm happy. First of all, as you already mentioned, it was really a very, very impressive world biggest climate tunnel. And we had been very lucky that we were able to do that with our partner, with a local partner. It was ZKW. And it's not a secret that 1 day of testing in that World Climate Tunnel costs 70,000 euros. So you can imagine that here it's always very good to work closely together to share as well some costs. What we have done over there, we put 8 different kind of lane markings from, I would call it from the most standard simple product. Even we simulated as an old road marking where we in purpose scratched and destroyed up to a high-end performance road markings. And let that read by 3 different kind of cameras where we do not even know what kind of camera to whom. We just were curious about the different cameras, how they are working. 8 different kind of LiDAR sensors. The LiDAR sensors had been working in a different wavelengths. And this under 24 different climate conditions. So really from day and the perfect weather up to night, wind, stormy weather, heavy rain. And it was a very, very comprehensive study and a lot of work. And still we are getting some data in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those of you who want to know a bit more about that, we have written an article in our latest issue of our corporate magazine Drive On about the connected and automated vehicles and the test also in the Vienna wind and climate tunnel. And LiDAR, just for your explanation, light detection and ranging, that's the new word in optical systems for cars today also. So coming back to these optical readers, camera and LiDAR are means in modern vehicles to read road markings. Yeah, I remember also the title of European projects, Roads That Cars Can Read. Yeah, it's a good project in this respect as well. Harald, what are the basic rules regarding the performance of such optical aids, and what role do contrast and retroreflection play?
To answer that question, I would like to start with some findings regarding the camera. And I would like to present the rule of thumb which were actually presented by Mobileye, which is certainly an absolutely worldwide leader in camera technology, who they were saying what a camera can read as well the human eye is able to read. However, not necessarily that the camera is able to read what the human eye can read. And putting this one to our findings of that project together with ZKW, I can tell you that it was fully confirmed. And the main point of the camera systems, they need really good contrast, which is as well a recommendation in one of the position paper of the European Road Federation. And the biggest problems the cameras are currently having is with glare lights, with light from the other side coming in. When we are talking about the LiDAR sensors, some high retroreflective road markings are absolutely increasing the readability and detectability by a LiDAR sensor. And especially when we are going even to a near infrared range with some special pigmentation, what we found out as well. The LiDAR can read, for example, an orange road marking very, very good, which is currently, even in the United States, a big thing, as they are discussing, if not for construction zones marking, there should be some orange markings in the future. And the glare and the backlighting does not influence the readability of a LiDAR sensor as it is by a camera. So the point is, if you put those two sensors together, you achieve a really very good readability and reliability of the assisted driving and of the vehicles.
Mm-hmm. And of course I can imagine that the uniformity of road markings makes life, of course, much easier for the machine readers in the end.
That's a request which we very often heard from the software producers and the sensor producers, who were always asking, can you do more in regard to uniformity, harmonization? And this is exactly one of the targets and of course the wishes. And actually already in the United States done for the highway, for the highway network. I agree.
Fine. Harald, what is your conclusion if you dare to take a look into the future? Are road markings designed for the vehicles, or do they have to serve the people?
Well, I'm 100% sure that for the next decades, when we are talking about this very long transition period from where we are right now, driving on assisted tool level, lane keeping assistance driving, up to a level 5, a fully automated driving, it's such a long way to go. And for these very long times, so for the next decades, a very good road marking, high performance road markings are really necessary for the human's eye and for the machine vision, but mostly for the human's eye. And this is what it really needs. We are talking here about traffic safety. Road markings are increasing traffic safety tremendously. It's a very valuable contribution, and this is exactly where it should go in the future.
And we all know that we are facing an aging population. The drivers of cars are getting older and older, and their vision, of course, is not getting better over the years, and that's why wider road markings can be a good option to improve road safety in the end. Yeah.
Don't tell me about it, getting older.
Yeah. Harald, thank you very much for this insight into a topic in which SWARCO has been successfully on the road for more than 50 years now, and will continue to set innovative accents for the benefit of the safety of all road users in the future. Please stay with us for a few more minutes to answer the questions sent to us by our audience via the chat. Dear followers of our fourth innovation talk, we are now ready to address the questions you are asking us via the chat function in Vimeo. Please feel free to benefit from the occasion and ask us your questions on the topic of road markings and automated driving. Harald Mosböck will be happy to answer them. I already see a first question here in the chat from a dear friend from the United States. Hi, Robert. Is the road construction industry working with the automotive industry in Europe to ensure a safe environment for self-driving car technologies?
Robert, good morning. I'm super happy that you are joining this morning. And as usually, you're putting past questions. No industry and our industry, while this changed within the last, I would say, 18 months, and meanwhile we have an interaction with the OEMs, with the OEM organization as well in Brussels, and they are opening up and more and more telling us what they are hoping and what they are looking for when we are talking about lane markings. So it's getting better. It's still a long way to go, but it's improving, that's for sure.
Yeah, another question coming in from the United Kingdom. Hi, Andy. Who do you think will pay the premium cost of high-quality road markings? Society, road authorities, or the automakers?
That's the big question. Whenever you are in contact or in the discussions about higher performance of lane markings with automotive or as well with the road authorities, the first question is always who is going to pay for that. It's a good point. My guess, my belief is that there is no doubt for higher and for improved lane markings all over Europe in road networks. And once that we achieve a level which is certainly as well for the human eyes and good for the human eyes, then it will work for the automotive vehicles as well. I doubt, and here I agree, that road authorities all over Europe will be able to finance and to pay for extraordinary super high lane markings on all existing road network, because actually already today they are suffering and of not insufficient funds in order to put really proper lane markings on all the roads. So at the end of the day, it will be a compromise. The requirements will increase, will improve, there will be better lane markings down, and it will be beneficial for the human drivers and as well for the automated vehicles.
Mm-hmm. We got a more technical question concerning the road marking materials. What materials are you using to adhere your coating with the road, and what is the durability of the road markings?
That's the best question always. It's about what kind of materials. Principally, when we are talking about how lane markings can be read by several kind of technologies, is it the camera or the LiDAR? It doesn't matter now what kind of material is it. So principally, it can be read, all kind of road marking materials can be read by the current technologies. As long as certain properties are fulfilled, like day visibility, here we are talking about contrast, and retroreflectivity. The point is always then, of course, where I'm going to put down which material and what is the traffic density, what kind of lane markings we have. It's a big difference whether we are talking about some edge lanes on motorways or we are talking about some transversal road markings in the cities. So all kind of road marking materials fulfilling their purpose. All road marking materials have a niche, have their place on the market. It's just always the question to put the right road marking material on the right place, on the right road.
Mm-hmm. If I may add a question, I think this question was referring also to the bonding of the road marking material with the road. What do we use? There is the use of primers, for instance, with certain material.
This is a very technical question, and it's not directly linked with automated vehicle, but surface preparation in general is always an issue in order to achieve proper adhesion, all kind of materials on road. And it's mostly a thing of on concrete roads, on new concrete roads, where proper surface treatment, surface pre-treatment should be done to ensure a good adhesion. Doesn't matter what kind of material later on.
Mm-hmm. Another question coming from the United States, and which is also referring to your function in the European Union Road Federation. Where can road managers find the latest information on what marking characteristics are most important to machine vision vehicles? Could the ERF help in this area?
That's a real good question as well. And to be honest, unfortunately, right now we are still missing that kind of clearance body where someone is able to go over there and to check, okay, I have here that kind of road, I need that kind of lane markings, or what shall I do? What can be of help in the future, what we are currently thinking, what the European Union at the moment is working on is, as we mentioned about the RISM directive, that by the end of next year we are hoping to get out with some proposals, with some recommendations, how lane markings shall be done, put down, so that vehicles can read them with the most reliability. Mm-hmm. But still, yes, there is not that clearance house in place, but I hope that even perhaps the European Road Federation can take over that kind of lead. I will think about it, yeah.
Fine. We got to thank you for the informative answer on the road marking bonding and the technical. So please feel free to send us more of your questions. We are happy to answer them here. Harald, if we come back to the topic of cameras, what are the biggest problems for cameras in recognizing road markings?
Okay. Currently, the biggest problems cameras still are facing in detecting and reading the lane markings is especially under very inverse lighting conditions, which is especially glaring. It's under wet conditions with glare light coming from the other side. Over there, and especially on concrete roads in an east-west direction, whereas as already the mobile eye rule of thumb, when the human eye cannot see it, the camera has much more troubles or it's impossible. And if you think to exactly that situation on a concrete road, you are driving against the sun, and then perhaps you have even still some rain falling down, you are completely blind. And this is as well the biggest problem as well camera are currently facing. And only with a good contrast road markings you can help the cameras, but as well, of course, the human eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got a confirmation from Christophe Nicodem. ERF would be more than pleased to help on this area as Robert asked. So greetings to Brussels also, Christophe, salut. You also have a question. Do you believe that the post-COVID-19 era will have an influence on the way road authorities and road users will perceive the importance of the road in general and the role of the road equipment, in particular road markings? Also, do you think new emerging mobility patterns can, and then it breaks off. So do you want me to repeat the question? Or?
I guess I know what Christoph is about because we just recently had a discussion about it. Christoph, currently the COVID situation and unfortunately, or you especially in Brussels, you are feeling this leads to a lot of postponing and delays in processes, in new policies. And it doesn't make it easy. We are just thinking about that ECRIS. We're already summer 2021, there should be the first results. For sure, we have a delay of 6 months. On a long run, I guess we will be back on track when we are talking about lane markings on interurban roads and automated vehicles. But to answer more or less your second question, I'm absolutely sure that the mobility is going to change due to this pandemic situation we are currently facing in cities. And I'm thinking mostly to micro mobility. It's bicycle lanes will come more and more up. It will be what we have right now with these pop-up bicycle lanes. So there will be a change of mobility, especially in urban areas, in urban cities. And yes, it will affect as well somehow the lane marking industries. And again, the request coming from the OEMs, more clear, very structured lane markings, even then in cities, and where we have a very complex traffic situation, becomes certainly more of importance and will still require a lot of work in order to get that everything done more uniformity and harmonized.
Mm-hmm. There are more questions popping up. Thank you for being so active in this respect. Greetings to Holland in this case. The question is whether you foresee intelligent road markings with inclusive signaling, ITS equipment like cables, sensors, etc.
My personal guess is that that won't be the case for the whole road network. And that comes back to that question, who is going to pay for that? I really can't see that road authorities, already today suffering with lack of fundings, will be able to put all over the existing road networks some additionally intelligent lane markings down. I can't see that. However, I can see that in some certain areas, like in construction zones, additionally ITS or intelligent lane markings will find a place, can find a place in relation to how much that kind of RFID chips, for example, are costing. It's nothing putting together in relation of the total cost of a construction zone, but it can increase traffic safety for the automated vehicles tremendously. So it will be a compromise. In certain positions, yes, there will be more intelligence in lane markings, but overall, all over, all road networks, I can't see that.
Okay. There is a question coming back to the tests in the wind tunnel in Vienna. What kind of tests and data were conducted using the climate tunnel? Maybe we can repeat a bit about that. Mm-hmm.
Well, we had how many data? I mentioned we had several LiDARs, several cameras, and a lot of climate conditions. And if you combine all these data, we got thousands of databases, which unfortunately we are still evaluating and working it out. Yet we did not finish with the but just one very interesting statement or one finding was as well that we simulated very dense fog, and actually it was impossible for the human eye and as well for cameras to see anything at all. It was just a gray curtain. It was nothing visible. However, one special LiDAR sensor was still able to read and to detect the lane markings. The problem at the moment is that that kind of LiDAR sensor costs more than a normal vehicle. I guess it was, if I remember correctly, 70,000 euro one LiDAR. So that's not ready yet for total deployment, but things will come.
Another question from Robert from the US. Could road users, through connected sensors, provide important information to road owners regarding marking quality, condition and perception?
Yeah, data collection and out of it a kind of the road assessment and the providing for the road authorities a big issue, a big thing, and certainly it is possible. Certainly there are a lot of data already existing, and I'm thinking about of all the high-equipped OEMs with cameras. They are permanently, they can read out of their data if the lane marking assistant, the LKS, was working, when it was working, when what kind of weather conditions had been, for example, is the swiper on, was it off, and out of it, it certainly, I'm absolutely sure that some organizations are absolutely able to read out if a lane mark. There is no doubt that it could be very interesting as well for the road operators and the road authorities. And it will be a very, very interesting discussion, which hopefully will come up in the next months in Europe. We are on it, Rob, and I will keep you posted.
Yeah, another question from my side, Harald. I assume there are regular talks between the road marking industry and also the car makers. What are the wishes of the car makers and their demands related to road markings?
Richard, you remember the first question. So the discussion with the OEM started, and it's improving over the last 18 months. And fortunately, still before the big lockdown in spring, then there was an event in Germany, and had been able to listen to a presentation from one of the big German OEMs with regard to their expectations concerning lane markings. And it was pretty clear. Their biggest hope is really uniformity, harmonization. The less several kinds of markings, the better it is, the more reliable the system becomes. Lane markings should be very clear. They are really needing, as we discussed already, some just please help me out with the contrast. They need contrast, especially in the cameras. And the funny and one statement was as well, no funny road markings. So what you really, if you think about, especially again in urban areas, that all of a sudden a pedestrian is looking like a piano, then of course the car makers have to teach their sensors and their software, okay, this is not a piano, this is a pedestrian. And this is, keep it simple and clear, then the more.
Fine. Yeah, dear business partners and friends of SWARCO, dear colleagues, we have already passed the 30-minute threshold from our webinar, and I would like to thank you very much for joining our fourth webinar on the SWARCO Innovation Talk series. I cordially thank Harald Mosböck for his availability and his explanations on road markings in the age of automated driving. My thanks, as usual, also goes to my colleagues Christoph Braxmarer and Benjamin Steiner, who are responsible for the technical implementation of our webinar behind the scenes. We hope you enjoyed it and got new insights into SWARCO's competencies and capabilities. The questions we were not able to answer or which come up in your mind maybe only later, we are happy to answer them nevertheless if you send us an email to the address innovationtalks@swarco.com. Innovationtalks in one word @swarco.com, and we will come back to you with the answer very quickly. Already now I'm happy to hint you at our next webinar. The next innovation talk will be on the 7th of October at 5 p.m. in the afternoon. And the topic will then be when the infrastructure talks to the vehicles, CITS in practice, so cooperative intelligent transport systems in practice. I will then meet my colleague Andreas Schmidt, who runs the innovation department of the largest SWARCO company, the SWARCO Traffic Systems GmbH in Germany. For more details on this innovation talk, please have a look at our website swarco.com. We look forward to welcoming you again then. In the meantime, all the best, stay safe and goodbye.